You work so hard. You show up every day. You do what's expected of you. But deep down, you know the truth. One paycheck shouldn't decide how your life turns out. But what if your evenings meant progress? What if your weekends built freedom? What if your laptop became more than just a screen? This isn't about quitting your job. It's about giving yourself options. While others scroll, you start building. Quietly, consistently, and on your own terms. No pressure, no guessing. Just a clear system you can run after work, before work, or whenever life gives you a turn. That's what Goldmine on hustlesafrica.com is for.
Tuesday. Haikuzo makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Kweli una maana gani? Una maana wewe ni binadamu ya mavi ya kuku.
Mashamba yetu harambe.
Nguruwe kujikanga na mafuta yake na Afrika itakwisha.
Padani agosho ngai no mwega na endesho de.
Wakati hiyo ilikuwa ukisema ngwe ndani ngwe.
Okay. It is a good Saturday. All right, people of the internet. My name is Oduor Jegero, and today I am with Jadiel.
Yes, Jadiel.
The other was calling you very funny, man.
Jadiel.
And you know something interesting with Luo language is that it's very difficult to tell somebody to pronounce something the other way. Once he has known.
It's supposed to be that way.
Once he has known that DL, because DL is just the goat.
The goat.
You can't pronounce it any other way.
Hey.
So people of the internet, welcome. It is 7:30 or is it 7:37 on the dot. A lot of people have been waiting for us. I don't even have my live online, but I'm going to be joining and welcome you in a few. Today, the political temperature reads one thing across three stories. The hustler has been sold and ODM has been bought. Start with the receipt. Okay. So that is what is going on, people of the internet. I have Mr. Jadiel here. Mr. Jadiel, I want to ask you to say hi to the audience. And today you are actually on my seat.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. You know, you didn't tell me I'm going to be on this seat.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite seat, where I'm sitting opposite to someone whom I'm going to ask questions to. Now, you will allow me to ask questions to you because today we're going to have an interactive...
You can ask me questions, actually.
Yeah, to have an interactive conversation. But I'd like to say when we did our conversation on Thursday, I'm so grateful that I didn't receive a lot of hate as I expected, because I'm usually used to asking questions.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that I've had a community. And I was telling you earlier, I met someone in town who was telling me, I saw you at Jageros.
Yeah.
Na nimeingia kwa channel yako and I've subscribed. And I'm so happy about that.
It is important that we... But I think you are extremely opinionated.
I am. I feel like as a media practitioner, anybody should be opinionated. And as I told you before, the media is the watchdog of the society.
Yeah.
And therefore, we should follow the constitution, not any other person. The constitution is...
The preamble ile ya Sifuna.
Yeah, I was reading this book and the book was talking about the constitution is the voice. No, the president is the voice. The constitution is the law. So everybody is under the constitution. And therefore, our reasoning should be looking at the constitution and not the executive or the legislature or the judiciary. We're just looking at the person controlling us, not the person, but it's the constitution controlling the people. Not the president, not the legislature, not the judiciary. Yeah. And that's why I become opinionated and anybody is drifting away from the constitution.
Did you always want to, what did you want to become before you actually got into journalism? Because people of the internet, he's a journalist and a very good one. Your hair, you want to grow it, what's going on there?
I've never known what to do with my hair. I don't really. I don't know.
And you're lucky you have it.
The only thing I know is if I'm bald, then I won't look as good as you look.
Yeah.
So I won't make it bald. So I want it to be that way. But I've always wanted to be a journalist. I don't think there's anything I've ever thought of other than journalism because I grew up watching CNN, Larry King, you know. And then when I was in primary, that's when Jeff was coming to Kenya. I liked Capital Talk, K24. Jeff was hosting everybody and it was so unconventional. He didn't care about the guests, didn't care about anything. He was just caring about what people must know.
Do you think, by the way, Jeff came to Kenya with the arrogance that you guys do not know anything? I'm going to show you how journalism is done.
No, I think it's the journalists in Kenya who were so rigid. And Jeff came and showed that you don't have to be rigid. You can have fun while having serious conversations. And that's why he was hosting everyone. And Jeff has been an inspiration to so many people. Yeah. And then Julie Sunday Live, that was super great on TV. And also Larry Mado. Larry used to quarrel with everyone because Larry knew he's following the constitution. And that's why he had several arguments with Miguna. Yeah. When Miguna is saying Ruto is a demagogue, Larry is like, who's a demagogue? But Larry was also opinionated. And I think journalists should be, even if you look at CNN, Fox, even if you look at those who left Fox, Tucker Carlson and the rest, they're opinionated because they believe what is right. And we, as a journalist, you don't have to be a devil's advocate. You know, there are journalists who think, oh, because you're opposing this side, then I have to be on this side. No, you just have to be on the side of truth. And that's my thinking about media in general.
Interesting. So people of the internet, we have a few things that we want to discuss today, but most importantly, we just want to be reading your comments and replying to them. Today with Jadiel, Jadiel said that he's going to be asking me some questions. But I told you, Auditor General, Nancy Gathugu has just told the country that the Hustler Fund, Mr. Kabiro, the president's own flagship, quietly closed the accounts of 386,735 borrowers before they repaid. So I don't know why that is the case. The balance that walked out of the door, 377 million. So the people whose accounts were closed actually went into the streets and nobody knows about them. I don't know whether their details are captured at the CRB, but they went with about 400 million that they did not take back to the exchequer. There was no explanation, no paper trail. The CEO, Henry Tanul, has been silent since March 2025. In one reply, he said the fund's own offices don't have the record. So that's the problem that's going on. So think about that sentence for a moment.
No records.
Yeah, no records. It gets worse. 4.27 million customers are operating without a loan limit. 4 million are operating Hustler Fund without a loan limit.
This is what we say conduit of theft. So we'll get into
631 loans. What Kenya shillings 116 million went out to the people whose national ID numbers were never even captured. You understand? That is Hustler Fund. Of the 83 billion the fund has disbursed, 12.5 billion is in default. And the State Department is now asking Parliament for 300 million just to chase its own money. We have our money outside.
There's a money, but
we don't have money to chase it. So I think they are going to be paying the debt collectors. They actually want to pay debt collectors to pay them.
That is the rational thinking, I believe.
That's the rational thinking.
But is that truly what they want to do with the money? Because you already have the details of everyone. So if you're going to look for debt collectors, you're going to look for these people and you're going to, make them pay, and these people probably didn't have money in their accounts or any record to show that they can pay. So how are they going to pay?
I think the problem with the Hustler Fund is that everybody believes that is the money that is owed to them as a people of this country. If the government is going to show us to the granary and tell us you can get a few tins out of this granary, but you got to take it back the following day, they're gonna no, we made githeri with the tin that you gave us, and what is going on? I mean, we ate them.
We ate the money.
Yeah, you can't ask us for the tin.
It wasn't well thought of. I think it was a popular move by William Ruto regime, and everyone knows when Fuliza came, it seemed like a profitable business for government, but I think government saw it as a way to make sure that people accept this regime, despite how it came into power. You know, there was contentious arguments about how they won the elections, and so I remember when Trump won elections in 2016, they had to give him a victory tour just to show that, you know, people have accepted you. And I think Ruto was giving people money so that people believe that he's a good president. But now we see the repercussions of what he did.
What are the repercussions, though?
We are losing money.
Is it that bad? Is it really that bad? Is Ruto's government really that bad? For us Nilos, we think not.
No. On this specific, we can talk about other things.
Yeah.
Failed promises, bundles, you know, gas itakuwa 500. You can talk about diapers for women. We can talk about tutakuwa tunatengeneza viatu Kenya. You can talk about, you know, there are so many things that Ruto promised, and so which he didn't deliver.
Do you think he was lying?
Well, what do you call?
Or he thought it's a possibility.
What do you call a promise not kept? That should be the answer. If someone promises to do something for you and then he doesn't do it, won't you call it a lie? But then if someone promises to do something for you and then he builds a mansion and he just promised you a shoe, don't you think he lied?
Yeah, like what are your priorities based on your promises?
So when you look at it's very difficult. You know, sometimes I see people trying to defend this government, and honestly, so some people still love their politicians. Even now, when you listen to someone saying two-term, you'd wonder why, because this government has performed below average, and so you'd think, why are you supporting this government? It's probably because you love the politician, not yourself.
A lot of people are saying that actually he's building stuff. He's building a stadium. He's building Rironi Mao Summit.
What else is he supposed to do?
Dams. So are we measuring him based on the full range of promises?
No, we are measuring.
Like, for example, if I asked you, Mr. Kabiru,
yes,
what has the president done? What has the president done?
I've seen a road from the ones I've seen. I know the ones which he has said he has done. Okay. I've seen the road from heading to Rongai, which is okay. I've seen the stadium, right, which Ndindi Nyoro was saying is going to up to 145 billion instead of the 45 billion, which is supposed to be. Auditor General has spoken about it also, but what else is he supposed to do other than that? You know, I think we tend to glorify when people are doing small things, and we think, you have done us so much, Mr. President, come back. But a president is the Lee Kuan Yew, a transformative person. If you've just done the bare minimum, that is average or below average. And anything below average, what should we say? Maliza uende. Because even the constitution itself is one term. It has given you one term to prove to the people, right?
But don't you think that proving to the people should actually, that scoreboard should actually be looked at the end of the term?
No. You know, when you say at the end of the term, you can predict what will be there. It's 4 years in.
Or it is actually end of the term?
No, I'm just saying it's 4 years in. What else do you need to be proven? When you are told...
It's actually end of the term.
When you are saying we have reduced VAT, but the cost of fuel is more than it was before. It was 170 shillings. It's at 190 shillings, right? So even if you say you've reduced VAT, the common mwananchi is going to look at what? I was paying this price, now I'm paying this, right? And even when you listen to government talking about the shortage of fuel, there will be no shortage of fuel. Why is fuel expensive now? You see, so that's some of the things we're talking about. Even when you talk about affordable housing in that sense, why am I paying taxes?
I don't like the affordable housing.
No one does.
I don't. Some people like them.
Except only lunatics and psychopaths.
No, some very good level-headed people like the affordable housing.
Affordable housing was
for the fact that they look good and they look really.
No, honestly, affordable housing must be done and ought to have been done. It started during William Ruto's time, and I think it's actually Philip Kisia, the former town clerk, before the new constitution, who was coming up with the plans. It's a very good initiative, but you cannot tell Kenyans that you're going to pay taxes and then you're going to buy the house. It doesn't make sense. You're paying taxes for these houses and then you're telling Kenyans that, well, look, you still need to buy these houses. It doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. That does not make sense at all, because if you go to Kisumu, there is a lot of affordable houses that were built in I don't know whether they were built in the 70s or the 60s. A lot of them. And one is called Undiek, one is called Huruma Estate. They are all there. They are super cheap housing. And I think that, and you see the problem that I have with the affordable housing is not even the fact that we are supposed to buy them, but the execution and the implementation of the affordable housing. I mean, you cannot build houses that look like we are going to be having horses in there. You have to make it look like a place where people are going to stay and people are going to play. People can have leisure and pleasure around those places. You have places where people can see trees. But the problem with those things, they are cement jungles. You have no space. Like, for example, one of the ones that annoys me the most is the one in Ngong. So when you leave Ngong town and take the road to Suswa, there is a big one on the right. Now, Ruto has a very big land there for him to implement affordable housing. He's got land. But this guy has decided to stack those things like boxes in a very small piece of land, while the rest of the land is a jungle. Why couldn't he spread them out? And say that, okay, even if Kabiro's child wants to go and visit Jagero's child, he can walk among his trees, they can play, they can ride a bike. But it is a jungle.
A concrete slum.
A concrete slum. And you're wondering, why is it so squeezed? And I think people of the internet will probably say why. But I feel like the problem with Ruto is that Ruto is not looking, even if he went to his current home, even not the vice president's home, where he used to stay, there is a level of planning where people are going to stay. You have to give them a basketball, whatever. However poor they are, we all know that Kenyans are poor, we are living below the dollar. But you've understood and you've realized that these people need housing. But we just don't need housing. We also need to have sex.
Yes.
You know. We also need to go and get air outside.
Yes.
We also need to go and do some kind of extracurricular activities outside. Why don't you put that? Like, for example, Joachim was saying the other day that they got, I think, 147 acres somewhere where they have been really pulling down houses. But they are only going to use 5 acres on exactly building the affordable housing. So the question is, where are you taking the rest of that? So, and if you asked me, and this is why a lot of people ask me whether my feelings about Ruto.
Because when I was here on Thursday, you asked me whether I'm one term or two term.
Yeah.
And I think, let me get it back to you. This channel, most people believe, because you host Odhiambo and you talk here, is it two term or one term? Because I know
the channel.
The channel, and then we get back to you.
The channel is neither. And this is the thing. So let's take the people that are always here. We have Advice Mundalo, who is a government apologist. He doesn't like the word government apologist, but that is who he is. Yeah. He sympathizes with the government and perhaps would empathize and go and vote the government in come August 2027. Okay, so that's somebody who supports the government. Odhiambo supports the government, but when the government says something stupid, he will go after the government very aggressively.
So he supports, but he's still pragmatic in a sense. He's
very, very pragmatic, and he will go after the government. There's several times he has been on this podcast and said that this one, Ruto...
Umeuma nje hapa.
Yes, umeuma nje. So that is Odhiambo. Then we have Joachim, who is very aggressively...
One term.
And calls Ruto a thief on this podcast every other day. Then we have Adrian, a Gen Z, that goes after Ruto with all he has. All right? And he went after Ruto's people so much that Itumbi had to call him and address him as a TikTok lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah, Itumbi went after him. And a lot of government people went after him after coming from this podcast. There is one he did here about the amount of money that was stolen from Shah. He came with a dossier and...
With the receipts.
Yes, and just spilled the beans. And I was there, mouth open.
How the hell did this kid get all these?
Yeah. So we have that. And then we have Odoyo Widi, who sometimes come here, who is a friend of Ruto, actually, and supports the government.
Not just supports, but a friend.
A friend of Ruto. They talk on WhatsApp.
So the channel is neither.
So, look, I am coming from the place where I grew up in Nyanza, and I know what bad politics means. And Kenya has had bad politics since Jaramogi Oginga Odinga died. It's not just bad, it's been horrible politics. Politics that I don't think, if we were to embrace that politics again, we'll have a very bad Nyanza region for another long time. And you see, every death is a silver lining. I do not celebrate the death of Raila, but the death of Raila is a silver lining. And the good thing is that Raila died when he was of advanced age. Raila died after 80 years. So we can say that is somebody's grandfather. That is somebody that has lived this world, has brought change, whether negative or positive, into this world. So those are the things that have happened. Okay? And that is why I believe that people should be allowed to talk. And people should be allowed to castigate the government. People should be allowed to tell the government that, look, you are doing really badly. You have no manners at all. And you have no manners, but you also have no manners with the money that we collect. Okay, so for example, I've never been employed. I've never had any sort of employment since I left college. That's about 16, 17 years ago. I've never entered an office and I've never been on salary. The government doesn't know me. And the government doesn't care about me. Look, I have this office. I have struggled on my own. Even the bank, even the other extensions of government and the things that surround the government, even I&M, with which I bank money, they see lots of money coming from YouTube into that account every month. They will not call you and ask you, dude, you've got $1 million coming into this bank account. Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
How can we make it better? All right, they will never call you. They just see you taking it and that's it. And the government is taking taxes from my YouTube account. But they don't know what I do. As a matter of fact, they will be angry right now that I'm talking about the mannerlessness of the government, you see. So that is my agnostic behavior and attitude towards the government. Because also what has happened is that I have traveled very widely. I've gone to about 26 countries. 20 of them in Europe. And I've seen how those people work. You get out of this place and start walking along the road, you see litter. Like, for example, if you go to Dagoretti Corner, you see litter everywhere. But you cannot park there for 5 minutes before City Council comes to,
take their share.
Yes. But they're walking on litter as they come towards your car.
So why should you pay?
So why should I pay? And that is the attitude of all governments, that they expect to take money from you, swindle you, and then put all that money in their pocket. And that is why I'm very agnostic about politicians and talking to them and making sure. For example, if you're asking me, the other time people were roasting me for asking tough questions to Babu. And I'm asking Babu, you want to be the governor of Nairobi, but you're teaching arithmetic to standard 2 students on Facebook, on YouTube. Come on, man.
Yeah.
We want to hear you how you want to deal with
even the cartels in Nairobi, which we know are controlling.
Buildings. Right now, the water table in Nairobi is completely dubious. How are you going to deal with that? But we have politicians that will not deal with that. I expect Babu Owino right now to be having town halls about how to change the city. You understand? But they're not doing that. They're bullshitting us.
This is Jagero's rant, by the way, on Saturday. We're going to be having Jagero's rant because... yes.
When somebody is coming to me and asking me whether I am one term
or two term,
I have to peel that mask of one term. What is one term? One term is saying that, okay, Ruto needs to go. Then there will be a vacuum. And once there is a vacuum, the next question I'm asking myself is, who takes over from Ruto?
And how different?
Yes. Is it Gashagua? And then we have to interrogate Gashagua. All right? It is Kalonzo. We have to have to interrogate his 40 years in government. Okay, is it Matiang'i? We have to interrogate his entire term during President Uhuru Kenyatta. Who else is there? So when you interrogate them, and I think that when you step away from your tribe, the other day I was talking to somebody and they was telling me that Kenya is an ethnocracy, that we are going to always go back to our tribal cocoons, which is fine. But once you go into the tribal cocoon, then you find the elements in the tribe, and you have to interrogate those elements in the tribe. The other day, a Kikuyu was talking to me and telling me, no, I don't like Ruto so much. But when you talk to me about Gashagua, I'm also having so many questions. I'm like, okay, you're my tribesman. You come from Mount Kenya. You're giving Ruto a run for his money. You're putting, fire under his ass.
Yes, for sure. That's Gashagua, 100%. Because Gashagua has a way of, taking Ruto out. Gashagua has a way of firing the crowd. Gashagua has a way of getting into Ruto's emotions.
Gashagua is that man that is always having a bazooka.
He looks at Ruto and then he takes 30 minutes in a funeral just to show that I am the man. And the president, as Gashagua comes and says the next day, was drinking over 20 bottles of water, which maybe is an exaggeration. But Gashagua has a way, and you're saying this is what the Kikuyu man is saying. But I don't feel Gashagua in a sense. Is that the sense?
I don't feel him. He's my tribesman. He's a man. I like what he's doing with Ruto, because look, Gashagua is very interesting. In fact, imagine a place where we have no Gashagua and we have no Raila. You can imagine the kind of life that we'll be having. Gashagua actually gave Ruto an ultimatum and he followed it. 6 hours later, I think. And he had said that, okay, the subsidy is back at 6.3 billion and we are taking it back to 8% for the next 3 months.
He did 16 to 13, then 13 to 8.
Yeah, exactly. And you can imagine, and if we have all this choir that is singing the name of Ruto, Ruto is a tough man.
But I think without Gashagua, Ruto would be out.
Out of government?
I think Ruto needs a Gashagua. He needs someone who can control the people. Without Raila and without Gashagua, if people go to the streets, who would call them back? I've been thinking a lot about Gashagua, and I think Gashagua might occupy Raila's space. Not in Luo Nyanza in a sense, but being the voice of reason in a country where the president is not reasoning as the people would want him to think, to reason. Do you think Gashagua, if the protests that are coming April 21st, of course the Nairobi commandant has said that the protests are illegal, saying you did not give me enough notice. It's supposed to be 14 days according to the Act of Parliament, but the Constitution just says you need to give a notice to the OCS. If you take it to Central Police Station, people will come out. But if Gashagua is not there and people decide to demonstrate, Gashagua is probably the voice of reason in this country that Ruto needs. I'm not saying that Gashagua will work on the behest of Ruto, but I'm thinking without Gashagua, without Raila, can people go back home if they decide to protest?
I would say this, that for me, I have no problem with Gashagua putting that fire under the pot.
Under the ass, as you put it,
I'm going to use the pot.
You already used us. Let's use us moving forward. Yes.
I think one of the things that we should do as a country is there is a gentleman that said that you don't need to sweep the entire world. You just need to sweep your front yard. And I think a lot of us Kenyans are not doing service to their front yards. We are making so much noise we are talking generalities, but I think that we need to start from home and talk about our MCA, talk about our MP, and then gravitate towards the county government. You see, and then go to the national government, because this rot is actually coming from the element. From the element down there, from the MP, where the MP is refusing that he has to be given money, he has to pocket that money and then give it out in doses to the people that he likes, and then we go to the governor. Some of these governors. The other day, I was listening to something in Ramogi TV, and this governor went into sort of mentioning the projects that he has done. And then he mentioned like 6 projects that he had done. And then Trevor Umbija looked at him and said, you can't be serious. I mean, all the 6 projects you've mentioned to me that you're doing as a county has been done by the national government.
And the governor, tongue-tied.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He was like, no, No, but I am the one influencing. I mean, how are you influencing?
Now he's an influencer.
You now he's an
Siende
influencer.
Instagram na TikTok.
Yes.
What is he telling us?
You see, so-
who's that governor? He's a friend of yours. Let's move forward.
It is not necessary to mention him because that will take us away from what we are talking about.
He's a friend of yours.
No, he's not a friend of mine.
Oh.
There is no governor in Nyanza that's a friend of mine. I don't have I do not think that there is any governor in Nyanza that needs to be in their position. I don't think so. Not even one.
You know, when I was here again on Thursday,
Yeah.
I heard about your deal in Nyanza, trying to be the voice of reason, and people are telling you, don't talk about whoever you're talking about. And then they pounced
was
on
telling
you.
me?
You said people pounced on you.
Oh, they beat me up.
Thiambo was saying that.
Yeah, they beat me up in the middle of
Because you were trying to reason.
Yeah. So that is what is happening. So we have to take everybody to account from the very down there and come, because what I think is that a lot of people are talking about Ruto, but very few people are talking about some of the people that also matter. And some of those people that also matter is like Kenya. Do you know that we have taken to the county government about 3.9 trillion?
Yes.
Since devolution? That's a lot of money. But if you go there, in fact, it is a good thing that they did not put these counties together. We would have had a lot of stealing of money. You can imagine Luo Nyanza just having 3 governors or 2 governors. They will be having a lot of money that they don't know where to take.
When you say 3 trillion, Thika Road was 32 billion shillings.
Yes.
So when you talk about, I know in Kenya we are used to talking about billions and trillions.
Yeah.
Thika Road is 32 or probably 35 billion shillings. So if we talk about 33 point something trillion,
Yes.
it means we have to have how many Thika Roads? In a
Many.
sense, probably 100 or 1,000,
Yeah.
if my math is right. My math has never been right. But I'm just
We
saying...
are all artists.
we are all artists.
We are very
creatives.
bad at
Our
it.
math and chemistry is not with us. But I'm just saying, if you look at Thika Road, and this is what I talk to Willis Otieno every week, and this is what he talks about. If you look at Thika Road, which is 30-something billion shillings, and then you say you have given counties 3-point-something trillion shillings, you can imagine how much of development we are supposed to see in this country.
A lot.
And that's why when you say that we have Ruto has borrowed probably 5 trillion shillings since he took over office, that's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about, show me a project that is worth 5 trillion shillings, because according to our constitution, when you borrow, it's supposed to go direct into development. And that's why we are failing as a country, because there's no civic education, because we are only supposed to borrow for development, and we've already borrowed 5 trillion, and you're asking yourself, how many Thika roads should we see from 2022 to now?
That is perhaps the biggest question, and I think the people that are interrogating the president and Ruto's government right now are wondering, I mean, the development that you've done vis-a-vis, and if you look at those development projects that you've also done, they're also loans. So you've taken a lot of loans to build things, because, for example, even if you look at the stadium, how you have to interrogate that stadium. If we have built a stadium at 45 billion, and by the time we are actually paying that off, we shall have paid more than 100 billion.
Yes.
You are asking yourself, what are you doing with that stadium? What is the reason for which? Because you cannot tell me that you just have a stadium to play CAF, and that's it. Africa Cup of Nations, and that's it. And taking care of a stadium is extremely difficult.
Yes.
And you need a lot of resources to actually have a stadium standing and operational every day. Take, for example, the Etihad Stadium that is owned by Manchester City.
My team.
Yeah, that's your team, right?
Yeah.
I think you're young. Yeah, so that could be
No.
your team.
No.
But that could be
It
your
doesn't
team.
be, not because I'm young. They're still old supporters.
Yeah, but no, they're not.
No, they are. When you look at stadium and guys are playing,
What do you
they're
think
older
about,
people.
what do you think about your game tomorrow with Arsenal, by the way?
Obviously, Arsenal is losing, but I know most of Kenyans are in the Arsenal side, so I don't want people to hate me. I'm sorry. So I'm just saying that we're going to take the cup. the
Tomorrow,
EPL.
you are at the Etihad.
Yes.
And you might have about 80,000 people watching that match.
Yes.
Averagely paying about $40
Yes.
to get into the stadium, 40 euros to get into the stadium. And that happens almost weekly. And if you look at Etihad, it's almost the same as It's at Talanta
Yes.
Stadium. So look at the amount of money that is going to Etihad. And try to think about the amount of money that will be going to Talanta Stadium. Where is it going to come from?
I think we need to address that it's probably a conduit for theft. If you talk about debt,
I don't wanna go that direction.
it is.
I don't wanna go that direction.
How can you?
What
Because we are having a logical government. We are not dealing with class 8 or Form 2 students who are just doing business studies. If you're investing in a stadium, you need to understand how much it's going to cost. Because we're not dealing with children, right?
Yeah.
They understand how much it's going to cost to maintain it, how much it's going to cost to construct it.
Probably they don't understand. Probably they don't understand.
So you're talking about economists in our government who have been at it for long, and you want to excuse them by not understanding? We are not going to excuse them. We need to say that probably they are borrowing money so that they can eat it later. This is what is happening in this country. Even when we talk about PPPs, public-private partnerships or whatever they call it, they are making companies, and they are making these companies supply for government or buy government assets, but it's their companies using stupid, let me not say stupid, but using people from other countries as their proxies, and then they're making money for our government officials. And this is what Meth was raising about CT scans. And when Meth was speaking about CT scans in hospitals, people are actually saying, I am a radiologist, and I know this money is going somewhere, and we know it's not supposed to be this way. And therefore, Kenyans need to be awakened when every time, even now when you listen to the fuel crisis, we are going to borrow again.
Yeah. The reason why I don't want to go that direction of saying that it is theft for me is that, first of all, I want to understand if they understand what they're doing. Because I honestly think that sometimes they do not understand what they're doing. And even their economists are cheating them. Because I am thinking, even if you look at the United Kingdom, the association, which is called, I think, FA, has very few stadiums that they have built for themselves. Most of the clubs build their own stadiums.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we have Etihad that has been built by investors. We have Stamford Bridge that has been built by investors. We have got Old Trafford that has been built by investors. All those things, most of them are built by investors. For me, I do not put 45 billion in a stadium. I'm thinking from behind, and I'm asking myself, okay, if you're building a stadium worth 45 billion, then it means that there is an understanding in your head. If you are an understanding, then you must understand that you have to start from the sports point of view. Do we have academies? Okay? So, do I put 45 billion in academies, or do I put 45 billion in a stadium? When I realize that soccer machinani is suffering, that is where I put the money.
Yeah.
Okay? Then build stadia whereby we get very good players going out to play in England and bringing money home. All right? Instead of building a white elephant. Once I have established that you don't know what you are doing, then I ask the question, so then why are you putting 45 billion in a stadium?
Oh, I get your point.
Yes, what is your idea?
Because if it's political, even the ripple effect would be bigger if you put it machinani.
Yes.
Because
for example, you look at podcasting, for example. We are in something called youth and creative economy. How do you bundle youth and creative economy together? If you want Kenyans to have a diary of a CEO kind of podcast, MKHD, Tucker Carlson, all those big podcasters,
Joe Rogan,
and people that actually put presidents in office, you're not going to bundle me, a 43-year-old, in a creative economy and sports. You think through it. How can you make Jagero, now that K24 is dying and all these other ones, KTN, they are all dying. You are afraid to say.
Citizen is a monopoly. We must say.
It is not a monopoly.
It is.
It has been left standing. That's different.
Man standing. But for sure, if any advertiser is going anywhere.
It is not a monopoly.
Yeah. It is the only one standing.
No. If K24 is going to pay a newscaster 700,000 in 2026, and you know that you've got other 400 podcasts in the country where advertisers are going, are you making sense to yourself? That's the problem. You know, media is like the government. They don't think.
Yeah, for sure. I've always argued if media was thinking, they would have scouted for better talent. But that is another side.
So that's what we are saying. So the government cannot, like for example, when they are building Mau Rironi Summit at a cost of so much money, okay? What is the thinking around it? So that for me is what I think about the government. And that is why, so if you go to the character of Ruto, does he want all these shiny things, according to Sifuna, so that people can actually see them from wherever they are standing, so that he's assured of 10 years? Does he really want the country, or he wants 10 years? You know? And he has to be the one answering that question. But I have a feeling that Ruto has been in government for the last how many years? Since 1997.
So that's around 30 years.
Yeah, but before that, he was in the cocktails of Kanu for maybe, let's say, he was in Y92, and before, so give him around 1989. He has been in the country. He has been the MP of which constituency?
I forgot his
forgot. Yeah,
I know he's from Sugoi, but his constituency.
No, it is Eldoret North.
Eldoret North.
Is it Eldoret North? People of the internet, Eldoret what?
But he has been an MP.
Yeah, I think it's Eldoret North. Yeah, so we have to go back to his constituency and look at what he has done there. Which Mauro?
Eldoret North.
Eldoret North.
Yes.
I got it.
You have it.
Yes. So we have to go there and look at the stadiums he has built there. We have to go and look at the Rironi Mau Summit he has been in his constituency. And then now, because the Bible says that if you cannot be trusted with small things, how can you be trusted with bigger ones? So what are the small things in his constituency that we can now see and percolate and say, okay, you used to do these things, but now you are doing these ones. So you look at his attitude then as an MP. Is he a builder? What has he been building in his constituency? All right?
The reason why we need to have this conversation, I think these conversations are important.
Yeah.
It's because we are looking at a society where people have this mentality that just because you are an MP before, you've been a minister, you can run government. Just because you are a deputy president, you can become president. And these conversations are important because I feel like there are a lot of Kenyans who do not understand the mandate of a president. And that's why when we get a bare minimum president, we applaud them. From Uhuru now to Ruto, and even Kibaki. Kibaki had the mandate of the people to unite this country. But look at what he did in 2007.
He's the first guy that I voted for in 2002.
In 2002.
Were you born?
I was around. But I'm saying, you have this mandate, Kibaki, and every Kenyan, you're from Nyanza.
Yeah.
Kenyans from Pwani, Murang'a, Cumberland, Northeastern, they gave this mandate to this person who was supposed to, show some sign of unity. He failed. You go to Uhuru Kenyatta, he does this bare minimum with the expressway and the SGR, no matter the cost. People applaud. Look at Ruto, people are saying he has done Talanta, he has done these roads. The bare minimum that they can do, and people applaud and they say two-term. It is high time we hold these leaders to high accounts. We hold these leaders, and this is what I'm saying about these conversations. We need people that understand that you cannot be an average leader and we re-elect you. All of them have been below average. But I'm saying you cannot be average. You have to be above average. You have to be a B or A student for us to consider putting you back. But we have this government where we have this society where everybody seems to believe that, we can just put anyone back because they have been there before. And that's why I thank you for bringing that conversation about Ruto from his time as an MP. But what has he learned?
Yeah.
And then I asked you before, how much can a person accumulate? And I think the conversation about our country is more than wealth, no more than development. It's more philosophical. We have to think about things in a philosophical nature. The people we are bringing here, what do they think about the world? And this is what the Lee Kuan Yew mentality. This is the Communist Party of China's mentality. This is the Trump mentality. No matter how much they have earned, their thinking is, how can I make where I am from great? And what has Ruto done? He has taken us below Tanzania when it comes to investor interest in investing in a country. Tanzania is looking at us, and we're looking at these numbers, and people are saying, we'd rather invest in Tanzania. People are saying, if I have to use fuel, I'd rather go to Uganda or even Rwanda, and they don't even have a port. Because we are looking at leadership that doesn't think at the interest of where they are from. And if there's something I would want to say today, is that if you are looking at a leader, forget about all these stories, because they have promises. What is their foundation? What is their ideological thinking about how Kenya should be?
Yeah.
Up to now, we don't have a vision from William Ruto. We didn't have a vision. Uhuru was at least speaking about 2030. But if you're looking...
2030 was Kibaki's.
Uhuru was thinking about Kibaki started it. But I'm just saying, if you're having a leader who hasn't spoken about how Kenya can be by 2045, is that a leader?
The nation's piece today, how ODM walked into Ruto's trap, is the obituary of Kenya's most formidable opposition machine, written while the body is still warm. Okay? It started with quiet meetings. So that is what is going on. Then the Mombasa Founders Dinner, then the two-term chant, then the cabinet, Joho, Oparanya, Wandai, Mbadi, and all of them. So, on Thursday, the Central Committee suddenly wakes up and asks UDA for respect. On Friday, Oburu is rebuking the UDA Secretary General and the Speaker of the Senate, calling them ungrateful, okay? Professor Gitie Natuli says it is one line. To neutralize ODM, you don't fight it head-on. You absorb it. Okay? Gashagua, on his victory lap, I warned you Kasongo would finish ODM.
Warned you. Who Kasongo?
And then Lewis Ngunyi brings the hammer in his column. He says that the ODM resolution this week rings hollow, that you cannot suspend coalition talks, demand respect, tell your members to stop selling Ruto. He domesticates them, all right? He captures part of the dissent, keeps it warm and noisy, but makes sure the exits are controlled. So these are the things that are happening today. ODM for me is a part. I was raised in ODM. ODM comes to the surface just after the Chungwa, banana of 2005. Okay, and what happens is that when Raila and co, Kalonzo Musyoka being one of them, decides that we have had a very good vehicle called ODM that needs to now be the voice of the people, they realize that Mugambi Manyara, I believe, has actually registered ODM as a party. Raila, Odinga, and Kalonzo Musyoka and co decide that, okay, you've taken ODM, we will go with ODM Kenya. Yeah. They then squabble over who becomes the presidential candidate of ODM Kenya. Kalonzo Musyoka sticks to his guns and says that I'm old enough, I can be able to run the country. And Raila, takes off and goes back to Mugambi Manyara and tells Mugambi, you know it's mine.
Tusisumbuane hapa.
You know it's mine.
Tusisumbuane.
And I imagine that they sit around a fireplace and talk as men. And Mugambi actually looks at Raila and says that this is yours, old man. You can have it for yourself. And that is 20 years ago. Yeah. Right? And over those years, Raila has built this outfit into his own image. Raila is a man who doesn't look at the enemy and cowers. In fact, I think Raila's first encounter with the enemy was actually his father in Nakuru, sometimes in 1990.
You're calling him the enemy?
Yeah, because he stormed his father's meeting. With the group of what we would call today goons. Goons. Yeah. And he had to be told to sit down because he brought a lot of mayhem and kelele to that thing. You know, and I think that ODM has always been in the eye of the storm. You know, to remember the fight between Kijana Wamalwa and Raila. And Raila most of the time will win his battles. He might not win which one is smaller, the war or the battle?
The battle.
Battle.
The war is the general thing.
Yeah. So he will win them. He fought Wamalwa Kijana and was bruised, but he came out the winner. He went into Moi's camp with Tinga, and the Tinga, you understand that there was a cartoon by I think Gado at the time that the cock had actually swallowed Tinga. That is when I think LDP joined Moi's Kanu, and then there was trouble in paradise.
Yes.
And then the Tinga started moving back and forth inside the cock.
See the cock's stomach. Yes.
And it was really, really big news. So Raila has been there all the time. And Raila has actually faced all these governments head on with his ODM outfit. You know, I do not like the way Raila has always, manhandled everybody in ODM. But I think looking back, that is how he made it stand. That he will be the last voice. And the other day, I have had this conversation together with Odhiambo several times, and Odhiambo usually tells me that Raila will always hold so many cards. And this morning we had, I think, a 1 hour call with him, and he was telling me that Raila would be negotiating with you while looking at the door. Okay? So the door is never behind him. He's looking at the door while negotiating with you. I think what he meant is that when he's speaking with you, he is looking at, okay, if this gets bad, how do I move out of this? All right? And one of the things that I've realized with the people that were left with this party is that they are yappers. They yap too much and they have no strategy on how to actually arm twist. Because Ruto is a political animal. You know, he will atakutafuna atakuspit out.
Yeah.
And that's what he has done.
He learned from Moi, so he has this Kanuism mentality. Of kutafuna, as you put it, or absorbing everything else. It's like a bacteria. I don't know whether I should call it a bacteria, but he's a person, if he comes, he will absorb everything. And you know, when you watch movies and there's this thing that consumes, that is Ruto, even when it comes to political parties. When it comes to Jubilee, he comes in and he takes Sabina Chege, he takes Kenyan, immediately he takes power. And then, he's wooing Jalango, he's wooing ODM people. And I think right now he has ODM. And people don't see this about Ruto. He's a consumer. He's a bacteria. I don't know if he's a bacteria or what. Yeah. He's a consumer. And this is what is happening in ODM. Think about it.
But for me, if you think about it, it's a good thing.
For him?
You have to blame the people that
for him it's a good thing.
For prey, yeah.
Yes.
Because this is, I think politics is a jungle. And everybody is looking for prey or running away from prey.
For sure, 100.
All right? So, and Ruto has hardly lost. I think the biggest loss for Ruto was in 2007 when he was, one of Raila's inner circle.
Lieutenants.
And he lost. And Ruto was bitter at that loss. Ruto faced one of our matriarchs that Kenya's, the Prime Minister of Margaret Thatcher, the Margaret Thatcher of this country, that is Martha Karua. Yeah, they squabbled with Martha Karua. That fight started at KICC. They brawled outside the courtyard of KICC and spilled into the road. Yeah.
Can I ask something about Martha Karua?
Yeah.
Because, during that time, we all knew that Raila had lost.
Yeah. In 2007?
2007.
No,
not Raila, but Kibaki.
Kibaki, yes.
And then Martha Karua was so adamant and fighting for Kibaki. Do you ever think about Martha Karua's integrity when you think about that time?
Martha Karua has never been forgiven by the Luo community for Raila's loss of election in 2007. And even if you remember, even in the last election, people were very lukewarm towards Martha Karua being next to Raila, because everybody understood that Raila was desperate in 2000 in the last election. It was his last. You are remaining with one card. And so that is the reason.
He takes Martha Karua.
Yeah.
And you're saying that people have never forgiven Martha.
No. Luo Nation has never forgiven Martha Karua for the 2007 elections. Never. Even when Raila was having Martha Karua on her side, on his side during the 2022 elections, they were not happy with
Could that be the reason why there wasn't an overwhelming, people say, it's okay for people not to turn up, but, 700,000 as it's quoted, Luos didn't vote. Could Martha be the problem?
Martha is not the problem. The problem was Raila. The problem was Raila because ODM has never had any sense of democracy. So this is, and I've said it before, probably for the benefit of doubt that people that never understood it. I think I can explain it. So ODM does not pick you, Jadiel Kabiro, because ground in Akuskiza or because you're popular. But ODM has this idea that they need to see your loyalty. And your loyalty is actually going all over the place, fighting for Chama. And contributing towards the Chama. That's what makes you. So people might not like you back there, but you are always helping the Chama. And so when nominations are held, they are usually sham nominations. And then if you are Kabiro, who is always running around with ODM and loves ODM, and you're always in orange, they love you and they will give you the ticket. Okay? The problem is that they have given Jagero the ticket, but the people love Jadiel. So what will happen is that once elections are announced and the ticket is given to Jagero, who is not popular, most of the people will not turn up to vote. Because Jadiel, who they loved, is actually at home and is not on the ballot.
So it wasn't about the presidency?
No.
It was about the constituency, the governor, the MCA, etc.
And even the other day, Odhiambo was explaining that that is the reason why Ruto has always allowed democracy in UDA and in the outfits where he is, because he wants to make everybody happy. Once everybody happy, everybody wakes up to go and vote. And that is a serious, big concern right now for the Luonyans, and that is why Ruto does not like the idea of zoning right now on the other side, because he knows that if he zones, then most of the people that are liked on the ground will not wake up to go and vote. Therefore, even those Luos may empathize with him more right now than any other presidential candidate. If you zone, then most of the people will not come out and vote because ODM is not going to choose the people that are loved by them.
So this is why Wanga was coming out and saying, yes, we will give tickets to the most preferred candidates.
Because of pressure. Because there is a lot of pressure. So now they are claiming, but you see, Wanga is not honest.
So was that message from Wanga to the people, or was it to UDA?
It was to both, I would say. It was to both. So that to both, to Uhuru Kenyatta, to
William,
Ruto,
yes.
to William Ruto and UDA, because UDA wants ultimately the strongest in the ground to be at the ballot, so that at the end of the day, everybody gets out to go and vote for their favorite. You understand? And Ruto is saying, okay, we want Jadiel, who is loved by the ground,
yes,
but has been spit out by ODM.
Yes. So ODM is saying, let's zone, but we'll give the loved one.
Which is not true. Because, for example, let's take Wanga, for example. Wanga is the chairperson of ODM.
Yes.
How can she lose a nomination?
And I'm told kwa ground.
And if she loses, will ODM give that nomination certificate to the winner? Those are the questions. So,
even Oburu is a senator.
And Oburu is a senator.
And he's the Secretary General.
Yes. He's not
the party leader.
He's the party leader.
Yes.
So you see all those things. Sifuna is the Secretary General, but so who is going to be given the nomination certificate in Nairobi? So that is the problem. So I think that what ultimately ODM should have done is to do their own affairs according to the party principles. If they want to go and have a Linda ground in Nakuru, they can afford it. But there is a lot of information coming out that Ruto has been funding them, or UDA, or the government has been funding their operations. So if the government is funding your operations, whoever pays the piper calls the tune, right? And so that is the problem. And I think when Raila left, so suddenly, they offered themselves to the government to give them direction. They did not sit back in their charmer and say, okay, what is the direction that we should? And that is, for me, I also see greed. Because why is it that UDA is given the most amount of money for political parties? UDA is given around 600 million plus. Yes. ODM comes second at 400 million plus. So they have the money. And they have governors that have got money. And they have MPs that have got money. Money is around ODM, and money is not one of those things that they can fall short of. So why is it that they did not take everything in their hands? The other day, Odhiambo was saying that Oburu is having one of the high-end cars, 4 of them, and there is claim that actually they are from State House. So if you are rolling in their cars, probably they are listening to you.
For sure. That's a no-brainer.
if somebody gives you 3 big cars, 4 big cars,
which will be interchanging every day.
Yeah,
they're probably listening to you. They know your strategies.
Yeah.
But I want to say something about this press of respect us ODM. Man, that was the worst thing I've seen in a very long time.
Who is supposed to respect them?
You know, ODM is saying UDA is not respecting them when it comes to this conversation.
But why are we being told?
Exactly. Would Raila and Sifuna sit down, have a press and talk about that?
If your wife disrespects you, do you make a press conference about it? And in any case, I don't know who is the wife in this ODM and UDA.
you can't, but obviously it's UDA, which is the man in the house, because you said earlier, whoever pays the piper calls the tune.
Yeah.
And so ODM is the wife in this situation. But you know, it's interchangeable now in this new generation. But what found me off is that Oburu was just there, standing, and then the next day he comes, tries to clarify things, and ODM has been reduced into this small.
I won't call Oburu Senai like Odhiambo said, because I think those are very strong words for but if you look at the way things work, when you are born, you are a child, and you are very agreeable, right? And you can easily be given direction. This is what we are going to do. Tunaenda kanisa hata kama utaki, tutaenda. Unaenda shule hata kama utaki kuamuka, utaenda shule. That's a child. And then you grow into adult. And then you are an adult until a certain age. And then you become now a very aged person. You are old. And we know what happens to old people. They become, and that is why they say that we should protect children, women, and the old. Right?
Yeah. You become what many call a child again.
Yes, a child again. So Oburu, with all due respect to Mr. Jaoko's father, he's old, and he cannot stand his ground properly. Right? And I think the reason why if you think about the way Oburu was given the party leadership, is just after Raila died, before Raila was actually buried. And the question that you are asking yourself is that the people that were trying to do this, to install Oburu as the party leader, and even Winnie has voiced her concerns about the speed at which Oburu was installed as the interim party leader. There was no hurry at all for them to wait for the...
Was it 72 hours?
Yeah, below 72 hours.
Below?
Yeah, 72, because Raila was buried, I think, in about 100 hours.
So it was around 48 hours.
Yeah, and Oburu was installed as the interim party leader. ODM was not the presidency where you have to have a party leader.
Yes. Yeah, we can think about it in January.
We can think about it in January for sure. But the speed at which the gentleman was installed there was alarming.
Is this why Orengo
Yeah.
Karoli Omondi. Is this why they are asking questions about Raila's death? Is this why they are asking, finding it mischievous or curious about, was Raila murdered? This is why this conversation is there.
I have never taken those conversations of Raila's murder seriously because Raila, there was an opportunity to murder Raila several times, but it was not possible. And I don't think 2025 was the year to murder Raila in his late in his 80s.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I do not believe that Raila perhaps was, because who was supposed to benefit from Raila's death if somebody was to murder him? Because Ruto needed Raila. Let's start from there. He needed Raila. Raila is the man that saved Ruto shortly after the June 2024 riots.
Yes.
He had to go to Raila because I think Ruto panicked badly.
But with Raila's history, you can tell that ODM would have fielded a candidate despite the handshake. And now, it seems like ODM will not field a candidate because Raila is not there.
They could field a candidate. And this goes back to what we are talking about, that they are falling into Ruto's trap. That is the thing. Because ODM has able men that can stand as a president. Orengo can be a presidential candidate.
Oh, yes.
Wanga can be a presidential candidate.
Sifuna
can be a presidential candidate. So the idea of killing Raila to deny them a presidential candidate is neither here nor there. There are able men and women in ODM that can be presidential candidate. But most of them, except Sifuna, put their tail behind their two legs and decided to walk straight into State House and ask and knock and say, what is it that is there bread that we can use to have the tea that we have at wherever ODM headquarters is?
Yeah.
That's what they did. And they walked into that trap, allowed Ruto to take charge of the party. Even Wetangula held on to his party and told the Nylord, bwana. Kila mtu akae na party.
But Mudavadi decided otherwise.
Mudavadi?
Yeah.
ANC. Mudavadi. I've never known who Mudavadi is.
You can't understand him.
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
Yeah. I don't know who Mudavadi is. I can't tell who Mudavadi is.
I only remember him from Madimoni, where he was expected to be the candidate supported by Uhuru back in 2013, but then he said he didn't understand what happened then.
Mudavadi did not understand.
Yeah.
He understood, he knew why he was not presidential candidate after few days. He knew. He was asked, what is your plan? The Kenyatta family asked him, what is your plan? And do you know what he said? That I thought you guys were organizing everything.
Well, go to hell. That's what they told him.
Why would we organize everything and give you the presidency? And we know what happened in 1978 when Georgia organized everything for Moi. What became of what? How did that turn out? You might think that somebody's weak brother. Let them step into State House. Let them step into State House. You can't assume that somebody's going to be weak when they get into State House. Even Kalonzo Musyoka, take him to State House and see who you are going to get.
It's called power.
Yeah, it is power that come with henchmen and hawks.
And sycophants and worshippers.
And sycophants. Watakupiga, bro. Atiwe unasema.
Yeah?
Raila handed that thing to his friend then, Mr. Kibaki. And then they went to State House. Wakambiwa hakuna nusu mkate.
Kuna MOU.
Hakuna
MOU. Uliona wapi?
There is a video of Raila. There is a video of Raila really getting pissed off. I don't know if you've seen it. He went somewhere and the PC was not there. And
hata mkeka hakuna.
Nusu mkeka namna hii. Yeah, so I think that ODM, in fact, one of the things that ODM should have done, because they knew that mwenye chama ameenda, they should have started with democracy within the ODM outfit.
Yes.
They would have allowed themselves to figure their and most people have told them that it was a bad idea to kick out Sifuna or to antagonize him because he was the only one who could stand against Ruto at the time. But now you have Omanyo. But now you have a man whose work is only to read papers. She can't speak.
Incoherently.
Well, I don't...
we have to say...
Incoherent.
From her first
She
presser,
doesn't know how to read.
Well, Jeff asked her, everybody's asking, Prof asked her, everybody's asking, she doesn't know how to read. She doesn't have that vibe. She doesn't have that aura. And the Secretary General has to be a fighter.
I have a feeling that she knows how to read.
But she can't read a statement. She knows how to read, but she can't read a statement. It's called public address. She lacks. An SG must be able to address the public. She lacks.
Exactly.
For her to be there, she knows how to read, of course. But then she doesn't have the aura of a SG. And that's why ODM is looking feeble. ODM has been reduced to, I would call it a banana republic, but it's a party, a banana party. ODM has been reduced to a laughable figure. And when you look at ODM now, the question is, what is Baba thinking in the heavens?
Baba might not be in heaven. No. You know, the Catholics have a thing called purgatory. You stay there for a while they figure out.
It's actually the truth about if you read.
But I think
whatever. But people will misquote you, and I hope you won't beaten again.
That whether Baba
is in heaven.
I'm not saying it's not going to end up in heaven.
Yes. You understand the line between earth. And heaven.
You know, there is more.
Purgatory.
Yeah, but I would think that he will go to heaven. But in any way, we don't know who goes to heaven and who doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Only God knows.
Raila was a very God-fearing man, I think. He was a God-fearing man. He did not mess up with the church, if you remember him correctly. He never,
for sure.
He never messed up with the church.
But what I'm saying is that ODM, you know, it's a shame what it has turned out to be.
I have no sympathy for ODM, by the way.
You said when we were starting that a blessing in disguise or a silver lining.
Yeah.
And now you're saying...
That is for us and Nyanza. I'm a Luo first. And I've never liked the politics of Luo land. I have a feeling that Luo land is one of those places that if we had our own country, we would be really in a bad place. I think Luo land, we are there because we have always been part of the national government. But I think that the way we have Luo leaders have never respected Luo men and women, have never given them what belongs to them. That is my feeling. You know, we have been looked at when there is this phrase in Luo land that I don't know how to loosely translate this. Is that politics is the trade of humans. So you cannot be a good politician if you don't have people that you can go and put on the table. So if you have Kikuyus, you bring your Kikuyus and say, I've got 8 million. If you have your Luos, you come and say that I've got 2.7, even though only 700 will come out and vote. So it is.
That's why they mess up census.
Yeah. So the Luos would say, "Siasa
yes.
The trade of humans." And if you look at Luo land, we have been traded that way. So every time people go and say that I've got so many Luos, but and I can tell you a story that when I was growing up in Nyakach constituency, my constituency from where I come from, my mother would go and look for vegetables if there was nothing to eat, right? And she kept chickens, and then there would be eggs. And my grandfather had heads of cattle, and he would slaughter one during what we call Oro, or the expanse of time where there is no rain. Okay? Drought, something like that. So there were those things. Right now, if you go to Luoland, if you go to my constituency, people don't take lunch. Kids come back home and eat strong tea and ngumu, what they call the KDF. You know? And people are really, really, really hungry. Like starvation is a thing in my constituency. But it's the same constituency that is 25 minutes to the seat of power. That is Nyong'o's office.
Kisumu.
Yeah. And Nyong'o has been given how much since the beginning of this of his term? Almost 40 billion. What has he done with it? He has swept Oginga Odinga Street clean and called it Europe.
For optics.
Yeah.
And people are hungry.
And then you go to Manyata and it's all dusty. You go to Obunga, it's dusty. You go to Nyalenda, that's where the goons come from. And then you go into the villages, and it's poverty everywhere.
And it's not just there. I was in Vihiga, I've been in
You
Central,
see?
I've been in Ukambani, I've been in Pwani. And then you hear people saying, mtu wetu ako in power, Joho, Mbadi, Oparanya.
Yeah.
They're in power.
Look at what is happening in Northeastern. I went to Easily the other day, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There were high-rise buildings. It looks like California.
California, as they call it. And then you think about it and you wonder.
And Gashagua was talking about it, and everybody was thinking that Gashagua is tribal. No, he's not. No, he's not. As a matter of fact, you know, one of the things I like about Gashagua is his always insistence on what we do. It's actually his people. If you think about it properly and in the stillness of the night, and think about Gashagua and him talking about Kikuyus, it's actually the right thing to do.
Not in a tribal perspective.
Yeah.
But in a, this is my home.
This is me. This is my people. What are they getting? So Gashagua might have a different definition to it. But you think about Nyong'o talking about Kisumu residents as his people. You know, Rasanga, the former governor, talking about people of Siaya as his people. Orengo is gallivanting all over the place, talking about the preamble of the Constitution. Do we have the preamble of the Constitution that governs Siaya County, which has gotten nothing in his leadership? He was an MP for how many years? Orengo was in Parliament in 1987, and he's still talking about the preamble of the Constitution. Today, going to Nakuru and all these other places, talking about the preamble of the Constitution. Kwani watu wanakula Constitution? People don't eat the Constitution.
Jageros rant once again. But you know, when I think about it, I think about the line between tribal politics and development.
Look, I'm going to go back. Before you go on,
yeah.
I want to go back to Gashagua talking about the Kikuyus as his people. When Gashagua talks about Kikuyus as his people, what exactly does he mean? I want to give it my meaning and move away from what he talks about. He might have his meaning, but I'm thinking about the children on the slopes of Mount Kenya. What about their schooling?
Yeah.
What about what they eat? What about their health? Those are the people coming from the slopes of Mount Kenya. And then you ask a Luo leader about the same child coming around Lake Victoria. Okay? What is their schooling like? What is their health like? What is their economic situation
Have
like?
they eaten?
Have they eaten?
No, I'm getting you.
So that is the question that perhaps we should actually be talking about my people. I should be asking Luos to talk about their people.
And not, I'm getting you, but I have a different thinking.
Yeah.
If people have entrusted you with leadership, say you're an MP or an MCA,
Yeah.
shouldn't you be advocating for these people that have voted for you?
Yes.
You know, if Gashagua is in the mountain region and they're calling him Jabba,
Jabba means what?
a warrior in Kikuyu.
Jabba.
Jabba.
J-A-B-A.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but there's an M. Jamba, I think.
Jamba.
Yes.
You're not Kikuyu enough?
Don't worry about that. But I'm just saying, if these people have given you this mandate to represent you, whether elective or because they believe you can speak for them,
Yeah.
don't you think you should do the best for them when it comes to this national level and speak for them? And I think this is what you're implying, that you have ODM leaders, because we are having this conversation about ODM,
Yeah.
who are thinking about themselves rather than who placed them in this position to become national leaders where they can take development back home.
Yeah.
And I think this is what is happening in Mount Kenya, even when you look at Ndindi Nyoro, trying to do the best for his Kiharu constituency.
Exactly.
When you look at Irungu Kangata, trying to do the best for Muranga. When you look at Mwangi Wairia, who I'm told, rumors have it, he has refused to, bring procurement back to national level, and that's why he's facing a lot of hostility. He has decided, to procure things through his county because that's how it's supposed to be, because he has been given this mandate by the people. And that's why I'm thinking, this is what is happening in Mount Kenya. And therefore, what is happening in Nyanza?
Yeah, that's the question. Because if, for example, you have Kibra, where a gentleman who is just a normal citizen has put together so much resources to help Kibra, more than any other MP has ever done. Ken Okoth has come close to what he has done in Kibra. He has connected those people with water. He has connected those people with electricity. He has done so much. But the most interesting thing and the horrifying thing about this thing is that Wazungu are the ones that are giving this money. You know? So we have white men collecting money to take to Kibra, while Kenya has a budget of 4 trillion. So we have labs that are not able to function in Kenya at the moment. Labs that were supposed to be dealing with HIV, labs that were supposed to be dealing with vaccines, labs that were supposed to be dealing with very critical issues of health in this country was being done by an American body called USAID. And the government was collecting money and putting 104 billion in building a website for SHA. A website.
From NHIF to SHIF.
And you do not know how the vaccine in your own country is going. The entire data of vaccines in this country was being shipped to America. And that's what they use, the big farmers they use. Kenyans have been used as guinea pigs. African children have been used as guinea pigs. Because our government cannot take control of very important things.
Yeah, the conversation is there about tetanus from, I think, 1990.
You understand?
To around 2000 and what?
Yeah.
That we have been given tetanus vaccines. I think you can find that clip online.
If you don't have health labs and you are building a stadium for 45 billion, we have to interrogate what you are talking about.
What are our priorities?
What are our priorities? When hospitals only have Panadols.
Enda ununue kwa pharmacy.
Yes.
Yengine kuna pharmacy iko pale.
I saw a referral hospital in Baringo, where Moi's place, where he has been president for 24 years. The ceilings are caving and coming out. You know? But we have another 2 billion for what? I mean, it's
there's a missing link between our leaders, their priority, and the people's priority.
Yeah.
I think I have to say that we have to look at, I think countries like Dubai and Bhutan are looking at happiness index rather than GDP. And why they're doing that is because they have realized the conventional, when you say our economy has grown, and this is what Ruto has been saying, we are growing. But is it reflecting on the ground? Are people on the ground contented, satisfied, enjoying your services? You know? And there's something that needs to be addressed between...
It grew by 0 point.
0 point, and they're saying, there's this, there's that. But it hurts me every time you hear a president he goes every year to the National Assembly and says, this is what we've done. And then you ask people on the ground, they're saying, I haven't felt anything.
It is very interesting that Ruto just the other day promised 14 billion to the Sikisi community, while at the beginning of this financial year, he only had 400 billion for the entire country. In fact, 400 billion was not even, he couldn't even use it on education, I think.
Yeah, there was that conversation about capitation.
Yeah. So
then,
and this is why I think we should rethink politics and just ask people very interesting questions. Because for me, you cannot come and tell me that I'm a Luo and so I should support Mbadi, or I should support Nyong'o, or I should support all these people that have been put in government. I don't know you, bro. You're not, you can't just claim that I should support you because you're from my tribe. You know? And I always tell these people this idea of tribe sometimes does not work at all. For example, right now, if you're having a service, how many of your tribesmen are buying from you? How many of my tribesmen are buying my book? I can see the analytics. I have it. I have more M's than O's.
M's than O's. Mwangis than or whatever.
You see, so you are not going to come here and tell me, because I know, even when I was in school, the person that took me to school was a Kalenjin. All right? The person that did my book was a Mwangi. The person that did this was a Mzungu. So yes, it is good to be a Luo and to be part of me as a Luo, but don't come to my doorstep and tell me and whip the tribal card. Because I have never seen it in my life. I have never seen it. I have Luo friends, but I can't say that every time I've got a problem, it is the Luos that have helped me. No. So, at the end of the day, Mr. Kabiru, it is me and you. Yeah. It is me and you. When we all gather when we are trying to cross a river in Nairobi, in the middle of town, it is me and you. You do not see Luos and the others crossing the other side and Kikuyus crossing the other side. We are just us.
Do you think people will vote based on this? Because I've been thinking about this a lot. Because we have this 2 years to think about that. It's probably less than 2 years, but we're thinking about how will Kenyans vote? Will Kenyans yet again go back to these tribal cocoons?
I think they will go. I think they will go, because what has happened in Kenya is that we have weaponized our tribes. And there is the idea of me versus them. For example, when I was in the village growing up, I had stories that if you are going to shake hands with the Kikuyu, then sure, go ahead and shake hands with the Kikuyu. But once you've shaken hands and you've withdrawn your hand, you've got to count your fingers.
One will be out.
You see?
Those were stories then.
Yeah. They're stories to date. So
no, right now there are people saying that.
Yeah. You think that all Kikuyus think that Luos are good people?
No, the Muguroki thing was a big thing in the Kikuyu land.
You see?
Yes.
So that's there. And the politicians will make sure that it stays like that for a long time. Because once you take the veil out, they will never realize, because right now it is us versus them. Okay? But you have to understand. There is a huge pastor, there is a big pastor, very famous pastor called Pastor Oyedepo.
Oyedepo from Nigeria.
Yes, he's a Nigerian pastor. There is a preaching that he once gave to a standing ovation. It was called "Every Man Must Call Himself to a Meeting." Every man must call himself to a meeting. And he said that every man must have a thinking room. All right? So you take a chair, go sit down, and call yourself to a meeting. And ask yourself the hard questions. Ask Mr. Uduri Jagero, have you been a burden to this world? Or you have helped somebody? Right? So, you ask yourself those questions.
Dr. Jordan Peterson says,
Yeah.
You sleep in your bed and you look at your ceiling.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself.
Come close to the mic.
And you ask yourself,
Yeah.
what am I doing wrong? And how can I make it right? In a sense.
Yeah.
And then you ask yourself, why am I here? In a sense.
Because a hen sleeps over her eggs for 21 days and it hatches. All right? But other eggs remain intact, I think. And there's science to everything. And as human beings, when we do not have a science to everything, to the way we vote, most of the time when the people refuse to listen to a leader, right? The leader starts listening to them. We make so much noise. Like June 2024 was a time that actually the president was sitting at State House and actually realized that it's gone. It's gone south.
Now wanasema ni mbaya.
Yeah.
Ni mbaya.
Yes. In 2002, Moi saw the pandemonium. And even if he had thought about stealing that election in 2002, he could not bring himself to handing over that power to Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002. So many of those things have happened. And I think the first thing that we have to do is to tell people that, okay, you are not going to tell me about 2-term. You're not going to tell me about 1-term. Why are you telling me about those things?
What next?
What next after that? Like, people are asking, okay, who are you going to vote for governor? So who is it? The MP, who is it? Trevor Mbija wants to be an MP in the village, but he lives here in Nairobi.
What does he know about the village? He has grown up there.
Yeah.
So does he know the current challenges?
Yeah. Do I know about my Nyakach constituency that much? And have you realized something, that all these people that want to be MPs in their villages do not live there? Every time they want to go there, they hire big cars because there are no roads. You know? And they take anti-malaria if they have to go down to Nyanza.
Yes. Oh, yes, they do.
Because they are afraid of malaria. But I was there home. The other day, there was so much mosquitoes and it was raining. And people are living there.
You know, when you go to the village and you really think about it, it saddens a person who's from the city.
It's dark.
Especially if you've been watching politics, especially if you know how much MPs are allocated, MCAs are allocated. You know, even now, governors are just giving MCAs money, ward development fund, just to ensure that they remain in power. And you go to the village and you realize that there's someone who hasn't seen 1,000 shilling note in 3-6 months.
Yeah.
And you see how grateful they are when you give them that. And these guys are coming from Nairobi and they're going to give them that 1,000 shilling note. And they're not going to give them anything from 2027 August all the way to 2031. It is such saddening, and I would like us to reflect a little bit about how much the country has rotten and how much people are unforgiving, uncaring, selfish, greedy, and how much we need to think more about, you know, are we going to spread this message beyond this channel? And maybe this, I know we're about to wind up because you're looking at that camera, but I'm saying, you know, I just want anybody that is listening to us today to try to spread this message, that you don't have to vote for someone because they are popular.
Yeah.
You don't have to vote for someone because they carry notes. You don't have to vote for someone because you like them. You know, politicians are likable. You know, they give jokes in funerals and everyone is laughing and they're like, oh, did Ruto really say that?
Yeah.
But we have to vote because we care about ourselves more. We care about free education, we care about free transportation, we care about free healthcare. And I hope people can help us in spreading this message, Jagero.
Yeah. For me, I think what I want to say is that even before we start voting, there is a time I talked with my brother, who is now passed on. His name is Ulo. And he told me that this MCA has not done anything, and therefore we cannot vote him back. And I said to my brother, fair enough, but what did you ask of him? Because he can ask you that question and you'll not be able to answer. And I think right now what we need to do as Kenyans is to ask, what do you want to do? For us, we have a few things that we need taken care of. Look, we don't have a dispensary around here. We don't have an ECD school around here. This bridge has been disturbing us for a long time. Kids cannot be able to go to school when it rains cats and dogs. These are the things that we want. Our primary school has the roof just caved in, and we need somewhere that is not going to be killing our children. These are our bare minimums. And the person that agrees that is going to make these things, this is the person that we are going to vote in. Okay? And then we have a pact that you say you're going to go do these things, fine. So then we are going to give you our votes, and we are hoping that you're going to look at the MOU every day and remember every morning that this is the MOU that we have. And then at the end of those 5 terms, or of those 5 years, we are going to come back to the table and talk about the MOU. But sometimes people like Ruto also, decided to say before the people talked that these are the things I'm going to do. And then that is why Matthew stands up in a funeral and asks him, bro, I was with you when you said you're going to make this road and you haven't made it. I was with you when you said you're going to do this. I mean, it is an MOU. You said, and we had a pact around it, that you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And so I'm asking you, have you done that? So I think that as people of Kenya, we need to be telling the politicians the thing that we want done.
Yeah.
We have a pact around those things. And then we say, okay, you did this, but the problem that we are having right now is that these politicians comes and volunteer the things they want to do. No. You don't come and tell us that you're going to do this. You're going to sink 100 boreholes. We don't want 100. We just want 4.
We just want water.
Yay! All right. Yeah, that's a good thing.
We just want water.
Yeah.
Not 100.
Don't tell us 100 boreholes.
Yes.
Yeah. Are we going to read comments today?
That's what we started by saying. You're going to read comments.
You can read a few.
Let me read a few. I've been told one to me, Akili Trevor did not live in Nyakach, so he can vie there. But what I'm just saying, I didn't say he didn't grow up there. I basically said if you've lived in Nairobi for 20 years, you probably go back in the village. But what I'm just saying is, what is that pressure to going back where you haven't lived for more than 25 years? It's not anything to do with Trevor. It's about, why don't you let the people who...
And I also talked about myself. What do I know about Nyakach?
Yeah,
it's just an example.
Yeah.
And Trevor is an acquaintance, and he wants to be the Nyakach MP. I don't understand. One of these days I will ask him to come to this show and tell me exactly what he wants to do in Nyakach. Because I lived there.
Oh,
and I go there every month. I go to Nyakach every month. I am in my constituency. Not to campaign because...
Oh, you're from the same place where he wants to buy.
Yes, with Trevor, yes. I am from the same place, and I was in his home area. In the last 2 weeks, I was there. I took a picture and joked with him and told him, "Wapi kura hapa bwana."
Niko ndani. This is Odis. Ako wapi jamani Odis.
Hey.
This is Ivan Ouma. He's asking where Odhiambo is. Hello to Kondani. This is Waziri. Waziri is also saying Ruto is excellent when it comes to politics, but very poor in governance. ODM needs to be careful. Today I'm helping you with reading comments. Kevin is saying, hello people of the internet watching from Doha, Qatar. My salams to Ward County, Jagero and JK. That is Jadil Kabir. Thank you so much for tuning into our conversation. I hope I'll be having this conversation more often. Annie is saying, Kufika, this is when we're starting the conversation. Is media bought? This is Annie. She's asking, is mainstream media bought? Of course, whoever pays whatever, calls the whatever, this media are getting a lot of adverts from government and other, organizations.
Do you think that's the reason why when you go to this, a lot of people are complaining to me, by the way.
About media?
Yeah, that when they go there, they have to be taken into a room and given tea and told that, look, these are our, you cannot
Do you remember that Miguna interview? I think on KTN with my friend, this journalist who left KTN.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, But he was telling me, I know they're telling you things in your earpiece, not to ask me. Miguna was so, it was like, no, we agreed we're going to talk about this, Ken Mijungu. That was his interview with Miguna. And Ken was like, it's media, so what can I say? But people have always had a problem with Miguna because Miguna doesn't care. Good evening, people of the internet. Kadosh is saying that I really admire Jagera for his authentic opinion, but he should come clean on his stand personally. Jenga Jogu is asking you that.
I've said before that, I sympathize with Ruto as a fellow Nilot. Sometimes I look at the guy and say that, bro, Gashagua is pushing you really proper.
Ruto should think about his legacy. I think this is what he should think about.
Yeah.
His legacy. What he wants, what does he want to be remembered for?
But sometimes I feel like we are not being fair to some people because they don't have a legacy. They've never had one. And the reason why they are in politics is completely different from what you think they are doing there.
Oh, so we expect so much from people who have their own understanding about what they're doing.
When you're talking to somebody who has never been to a petrol station for 30 years, when you're talking to somebody who has never been to a supermarket for 30 years, when you're talking to somebody who has never paid for anything for 30 years, you have to be careful how to handle that person. That person is not living in your world. When you're talking about Wetangula, for example, and you're talking about Mudavadi, for example, and you're talking about all these people, okay, look at all of them, and you are bringing them down to your world. They're very far away from your world. And so sometimes they don't understand. The other day I was talking to a gentleman that was telling me that there is a politician who will go to a restaurant and will be having his phone the whole time. But when he stands up to go to his car, he leaves the phone on the table. And his aides will have to scramble and get the phone. And then he goes and sits down and they will hand him over the phone when he's on his seat.
So he can sit in the car, it's just like...
Yes.
He hasn't carried it.
Yes.
For a long time.
Yeah.
For sure. That is Obama's... there was an interview after Obama had left...
State House.
The White House.
The White House.
And so Obama is like, what surprised you after you left office?
Okay.
No, he was asked. And Obama's like, oh, I had forgotten this traffic. For 8 years, he didn't know a car can stop in the middle of a road. Why is it stopping? So this person, for just 8 years, his car has never been stopped. There's traffic. He's asking, what's happening? There's traffic on the road. Can you imagine? Now that's the people we are dealing with, who has never baked bread, who has never gone to the kitchen.
And don't you think that Ruto might be out of traffic for the next 20 years? He might be out of traffic for the next 20 years. It's a possibility.
Everything is possible, but
so those are the kind of people sometimes that we are talking with. Somebody that does not understand money if it is not in billions.
Because now it's going to 14 years without traffic for Ruto.
Yeah, 14 years without traffic for Ruto. And a lot of years without anything for him.
And those are the people we are expecting to come to the ground and understand that 193 shillings or 197 shillings for fuel is a lot.
We have to speak a little louder. Today we have been seriously political.
No, today it's been Jagero's rant because I think someone has said today at least you've spoken well about Raila Odinga. Someone saying Ruto has been at Eldoret North, saying Jagero, if we stop being tribal and only then can we grow as a nation. Peter Mai, Jagero, who is this? Jagero, is there any MP who have ever built stadium anywhere in this country unless we forgot the role of an MP? I think by judging him, we should look at what bills did he take in Parliament. He's talking about William Samoei Ruto.
Yeah.
What we're lacking in Kenya is the quality of citizens. John is telling us that. I see a lot of comments here. And so many people are talking about, Jagero, where is your tie? Ile yellow.
I was going to wear a tie, except that you said that today is a weekend.
Today is a weekend.
So I came out without a tie, but I've always ile tie ya Ruto.
Ile Ruto
ile toka state house.
I suppose you mean a moeba, not bacteria. This is what I was saying, that Ruto is a consumer of political parties.
Yes.
Wants us to go back to the KANU era. And someone says, Jadel, don't forget how he poached UDM, that party from Northern, from Azimio to get majority. Njenga has been here. Hapo umegongwa ndipo Jagera. I don't know wapi nilikugonga. When I hear the name Gladys Wanga, this one is vomiting. Good here. He's sending some, someone vomiting. this is the narrative about Luo Nyanza, turns out is a fallacy. It was the second highest after Rift at 72%. Some of the people who say Luos don't vote had a tumor of 98 to 60%. I'm seeing a lot of comments. Mudavadi is a prodigal son. This is Eric Buana. So grateful that you're tuning into this conversation. And of course, as I said earlier, we hope you can share these conversations because, most of the time we talk about politics and we forget that we need to share what we have understood because as I'm saying from these conversations, so many people are getting what we are saying. So many people are like, even when you talk to Maraga or you talk to Jimmy Wanjigi or you talk to Omtata, everyone is always saying, I hope this message can reach a lot of people. Do you always feel that when you're having these conversations and then you feel like, people are ready to vote based on issue-based politics rather than legacy politics. And sometimes it surprises me that we go back to our tribal cocoons, whether you're a professor, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a teacher. And it's my hope that we can get to a place where we can just go on the ballot and not say...
And you know what? Sometimes I also believe that even once we have voted, we can still speak authoritatively and courageously about the people that we have put. And one of the things I'm very happy about was the latest press conference that His Excellency, the former Deputy President, unleashed against Ruto. That was bold. That was what you tell the president, that these are our bare minimums. These are the things that you want to do. And for the first time, I thought that Gashagua was thinking about Kenyans. He's telling the president that, look, this is what is happening right now. We don't appreciate it. We don't like it. And we would like the following to happen. That's a very good, there is a lady there that I think is writing her speeches. And her carrying that lantern from Wamunyoro all the way to...
Yeah, that was a crazy move. That was a crazy move. You're in Kalonzo Musyoka Foundation, but then you're in Kalonzo Musyoka Center, but then you're in this, what did you call it? What did you... we call it podium.
The lectern.
The lectern, and then it's DCP. That shows how Gashagua is, jamba, as I told you earlier. Yes. The issue is not tribalism, Jagero. If all leaders elected according to their tribes love their people genuinely, then they would be serving their people. Evan Otieno is telling you that.
Yeah.
The issue is not tribalism. It's about loving your people.
And yeah, it is really, really, really not. Because for me, right now, we have ODM that are talking about that UDA should accord them respect. But what respect to whom? It is respect to Oburu Odinga. It is respect to Omanyo. It is respect to Gladys Wanga. It is respect to all those people that are in that elitist group. But they are not talking about Ruto actually respecting the Nyanza region. That's not what they're talking about. And that is a tragedy.
No, that clip went viral. Nyinyi mnafikiria mimi ni mjinga niwache nyinyi wa Kikuyu niende. That clip where Ruto was talking about Nyanza. I'm not going to leave.
He was not talking about Nyanza.
But that is how people interpreted it.
I don't think he was talking about Nyanza.
What was he talking about?
No, he was talking about Gashagua and co. Yeah, I have a feeling he was talking about Gashagua and co.
He wasn't saying, I'm not going to leave Mount Kenya for other votes.
No. He was addressing the people that were speaking against him in the mountain. I don't think that Ruto was that silly to start, deriding Luos while in Mount Kenya.
But that's how the opposition fed Kenyans, and Ruto did not rebuttal.
No, I think that there was no need for him to give a
clarification. On it.
People could interpret. I don't think, even in Kisii, he talked about Wale Wakabila. Was he talking about Kikuyus? No.
He's talking about Gashagua.
Yes.
For sure. They should hire you. Government should hire you because you can defend them on this platform.
No. And this is the problem. Our politics, I think that when you just talk about the issue. Because when Ruto was talking about tribalists in Mount Kenya, he was not talking about Jadiel Kabiro. He was talking about
the leaders who are attacking him. Somebody is saying here, you realize, has it gone? Let me look for it. Oh my goodness, it has disappeared. He was talking about, you realize, here it is. Realize nowadays, anyone who's been famous online or on TV runs for office, and somehow all of them end up being disappointed. Look at Jicho a disappointment. Look at Jicho Pevu, Jalas, KJ. Should we trust these media personalities? If Jagero is vying, should Kenyans trust you?
I don't think they should trust me at all. I don't think they should trust me at all. Because, for example, who was Jicho Pevu?
You know,
Jicho Pevu was an investigative journalist. Right?
Yeah.
But apart from that,
this is Benny. Benny is saying that.
By the way, a lot of even right now there are a lot of people that are going to be putting in their resignation letters at Citizen.
Yeah.
To go and vie.
I've seen the list. It's on the blogs.
Right?
They're almost 7 or 8 journalists, online TV journalists.
But what do they know about their people? And that is why I was giving the example of Trevor
Mbije. And you've been bashed for it.
Yeah.
Well, Wachana Bana, how do you know Trevor has not lived in Nyakach for 20 years? Someone's asking that question.
You see, now the problem is, I'm giving an example and they are thinking that I'm attacking Trevor. No, I'm not attacking Trevor. I'm using a Trevor as somebody who is always Ramogi TV.
Yeah.
But
you watch Ramogi. So he's the one who's coming to mind.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm challenging Mr. Trevor that he should come to Political Headache and we will talk about Nyakach. And let me understand if Trevor Umbija actually understands Nyakach constituency and what he wants to do in Andengopanga, where he comes from, which is basically mountainous. I wonder whether he's been talking, he's going to do, but probably he wants to be a representative in Parliament.
Yeah, and Parliament is more about legislation rather than development.
Yeah, but I think they should have changed that law. Yeah, I don't think it should be like that. I really differ with. Do you think that all these guys, 200 and something of them, are doing legislation?
The problem is, who is doing legislation and they don't know anything about law? You know, an MP's position is anyone, you don't even require a degree. I don't think you require a degree to be.
Do you think that?
So how can they do
in the traditional
context
of it?
Yeah.
What do you think about Jalango becoming a senator?
I hosted a friend of mine who is running for Senate in Nairobi, and he's asking, can you really replace Sifuna with Jalango? You know, that's a very interesting question.
It is very interesting.
He's asking one simple question. Can you replace Sifuna with Jalango? And I think without answering you, that is an answer in itself.
Even if you were not going to the people, even if you were to have a board of 30 people trying to replace Sifuna with Jalango.
That is an answer in itself.
You understand? So those are the things. So all these journalists that have been reading news on a teleprompter are going to claim that they want to be representative of a place. Now they don't know, really. And even when we are talking about representation, really, we are talking about, I think that you are also bringing in the problems of those people and either drafting them into bills or something of the sort. And by the way, when you are saying that they are not supposed to be doing development, why are they being given CDF money?
See, to support the executive in whatever the executive is pushing in Parliament. It's as easy as that. It's a no-brainer. Raila, Ruto, Raila was not advocating for CDF, but anybody that is advocating for CDF by MPs, of course, it's because the executive has them on their balls and they're like, you know, if you don't support me, we will remove CDF. And they're earning almost 100 million shillings per financial year. And this is the money they use to recover their campaign money. And that's why an MP can easily use 50 million to 100 million to campaign in a constituency, because they know from their first financial year, I will have recovered.
Yeah.
And they say, you know, there are committees, you know, to look into CDF, but, you know, these committees are their friends and relatives. So it gets to a point where those who are thinking critically about the country, and of course there are people who don't really care about the country because their brains have been brainwashed by politicians because they cover their funeral expenses, they cover their hospital bills, they cover their educational bills.
But you see,
from that CDF.
You see, that's the problem.
And therefore you think of this person as the leader.
And the fundamental question that we have to ask, why are people not affording their school fees? Why are people not affording to bury their loved ones? Why are people not affording all these things that they claim to be supporting? Because we have to go to the basics and understand why people are not able to afford School fees.
Yeah.
You know, and we know how much school fees is supposed to cost
Yeah.
in a year. And we know that 45 billion for a stadium is taking a lot from if we were supposed to be providing free school education.
It's around less than 200 billion for capitation. And you can easily provide free education if you have 300 billion. You can even provide it up to TVET. And nobody is talking about it.
Yeah.
And if you look at how much money is given to CDF, to counties,
yeah.
to the even Ministry of Education when it comes to giving bursaries, even up to people going abroad. If you just consolidate this money into a fund, you can easily pay without giving people money back to the people.
Now the government is claiming that they have to do the CDF so that they can pass their own bills. And why is it that you're afraid of that your bills are not going to pass? What bills are they? What kind of bills are they? So the people don't like them. That is why you have to hand them over CDF so that they can pass them. Because a lot of the bills that are being passed would not actually see the flow of the House. Because some of them are very bad bills.
Jaguar country cannot move without legislation. Kabiru, a legislator does not draft law. You need to understand legislation in the context of parliament. No, let's just understand it as simple as it is. It is legislation. And sometimes we want to defend these politicians because maybe Martha, I know I see you are a top fan of this show, but
how do you know that she's a top fan?
There is a crown with number 2. Martha, glad that you're watching us. But I just want to say, you know, sometimes we have to look at things.
I would like to know who Martha is. She has never said who she is. She's very opinionated.
And I like it.
And not in a bad way.
Because now I'm going to Google legislation after this. I like when
But we can Google it now.
What legislation actually means. But from my layman understanding, because I usually ask questions, but from my layman understanding, it is
making laws.
It is making laws. This is legislation in the simplest nature. You're supposed to make laws, probably amend laws, you know, just looking into laws. And most of these MPs do not know anything about what they want to do. And that's why they have a staff of lawyers to help them, you know, understanding what people need and coming up with laws. But what I'm just saying is, you know, does this person look like they know what they want to represent as a member of parliament when it comes to the legislation aspect? And that's why most of them, if you talk about Jalango, you talked about him, how many times has he stood in the floor of parliament?
In the Kenyan context, legislation refers to written laws formally enacted by a body with legislative authority, primarily parliament at the national level and county assemblies at the devolved government. Under the Article 94 of the Constitution, legislative authority at the national level is vested in parliament.
And this is why John Norton is actually saying, does Jalango even understand the roles of a Senate for starters? And this is the case. Do people understand what they need to do in parliament? So basically what we are probably saying is, when you elect someone, do they know what they need to do in parliament? That's my reasoning about members of parliament, about senators. But at least senators in Kenya, we must give them an applaud.
And look,
they're trying.
Yeah, and look, Jalango can actually come out and tell us that these are the things that he's not happy with at the Senate, and those are the things that he's going to change. But since he started gallivanting around His Excellency the President, Mr. Dr. William Ruto, I've not heard him. So I mean,
that was a shame.
Can people talk about what they want to do for Kenyans? That
was a shame for Jalango. You know, he comes, he's just a one-term, the first time he's in parliament, and within the first year, he's already in State House, and then he was saying, you know, I was preparing.
I don't think there is something really
No, I'm just saying, he was just saying he's preparing the road for Raila because he knew Raila was going to have a handshake with Ruto. But you know...
He said that he was preparing...
I think he was saying preparing, or he was making tea or something of that sort after the broad-based government. But I think we need to just, you know, some common decency. It doesn't matter whether it's wrong or right. Some common decency entails you are an ODM member. ODM is still contesting the way Ruto won the elections. And so just some decency, whether you are right or wrong. ODM was still saying Ruto is not the president. How the hell are you in State House? You know, it's just a way of just thinking and understanding. You know, Martha was still saying we're taking this to the East African court.
I also think that Jalango is a business person. He's not going to, you know, and that is actually what ODM hates and loves: loyalty or lack of it. ODM does not like it. Loyalty.
Or lack of it.
They will never forgive you.
But then Baba, I don't understand. You maybe you do know Baba more.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to finish it like that, but I know you know Baba more. He used to forgive everyone. What
No.
was that? What was the case with
He
that?
wasn't forgiving.
He was still friends with Jalango.
No.
There was a way anybody that even when you look at the Isaac Moras or the Elachis, they would make moves and you'd think, Baba would, leave them. But then he got to, Baba was just forgiving.
Can I tell you something? He wasn't forgiving them. He understood them. Because that is the nature of the trade. Because politics is harlotry.
Prostitution.
Yeah.
As a synonym.
Politics is harlotry.
Yeah.
Politics is a matter of doing deals. There is a time that there were people being killed on Jogo Road, but Kibaki and Raila were having whiskey at Serena. And it is their supporters that was fighting each other along Jogo Road, but they were having whiskey at Serena. Raila understood that politics is a game. All right? You come with your cards, I come with your cards. And I put some below the table. And I put some on top of the table. That's what happens. It's about your skin. And Jalango simply went to State House where Raila had gone several times.
I like the interpretation of my former boss who used to say, sometimes Kenyans would take things personally.
Yeah.
But Raila didn't care about what Kenyans were taking personally.
No.
Jalango has done this.
No.
Raila doesn't care.
No.
He's like, yo, Jalango, come, let's have a drink.
No, yeah.
And Kenyans...
And probably congratulate him.
Yeah.
In the night. And say, look, this is what you do in politics.
What has Ruto told you? This was Raila baby.
Yeah.
Someone saying, well, Jadiel, stop it. The truth is there was a handshake looming.
You remember Raila?
Yes.
Do you know Jalango told me that he called Baba before going to State House? He told me on a podcast. Go watch my podcast. Yes. He called Baba. And Baba told him to go there. But Baba is the same person who threw him under the bus in Machakos. Yes. He told me on DWJ that I made a call to Raila and asked Raila, this guy has said that he's coming to Langata and he would like me to be there. All right? And Raila told him on the phone that if it is about, and then went ahead and told Raila that also he has invited me to State House in preparation for this same meeting. And then Raila gave him the go-ahead to go to State House. But when everybody started making noise to Jalango, Raila was quiet and did not intervene, did not say that I'm the one, that Jalango actually called me and told me that he was going to meet William Ruto. He completely went silent on Jalango. And I asked Jalango, do you feel betrayed? And Jalango was not able to answer that question because it was just after Raila's death. And he wasn't going to say that Raila betrayed him. But you could see the body language of Jalango that he felt betrayed. And the funny thing is that when they showed up in Machakos, where Jalango would later be thrown out, Raila was in that meeting. He did not intervene. He did not tell those guys to actually not throw Jalango out or close the door on his face. So Raila wanted people to understand that we have traitors amongst us. We have betrayers amongst us. And he's not going to be on the side of betrayers. And that is how Raila used to do his politics.
Is this Raila's fault or wasn't Jalango reading the room when he called Raila? Because would Raila say no? Or would Raila expect Jalango to understand?
But Jalango was a neophyte in politics.
Oh, he expected some mentorship.
Yes. He expected to be given direction as a first-time MP, somebody who has seen Raila in this path for years. And there is an election that is contested that has gone to Supreme Court. Supreme Court has actually pronounced themselves and said that this is hot air. All right? And barely months later, the man who won the election is calling you to State House and telling you that he's going to Langata. You got to go back to your boss and your party leader and ask him, this is what I have on the table. What is the direction? And your party leader gives you the blessing to go to State House and ultimately be in the meeting that his arch enemy has organized in Langata.
There's something called baptism by fire. So Raila baptized Jalango into politics.
Yes.
Don't expect me to fight for you.
Yeah.
I let you, go through your tribulations
you are
alone.
in the dark group. You are in the dark group. Find out. Because if you look at Raila's life, he never had anybody. His father died an old man in 1994 after fighting tooth and nail with Moi and lost. Right? And beyond 1994, who can you say was Raila's mentor? There was none. Raila came out of the bush, shaking his mane and saying, what is it that I can put my teeth on? And the first thing he put his teeth on was Ford Kenya. And he grabbed it. He would fight with Kijana Omalo, and Kijana Omalo would defeat him in Kiambu. I don't know where it was. And he took off, went and formed his own party. Right? After the death of Raila Odinga, there was Ford. And then Ford would...
Oginga, yes.
Yeah. And so Raila has been his own man. His father could not get him out of prison.
And now we have
detention.
We have these MPs who are, relying on Raila, clinging on his coat. And now he's gone.
He's not... Yeah, and there is fire under the pot.
Under the ass, as you said. Yes, you said in the beginning, there's fire.
Yeah. And they don't know where to turn to. During this time, we would have Kerara Pond. Do you know there's petrol station at Kerara Pond?
No.
It's next to Raila's home.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
You know that petrol station?
Yeah, I know it.
In the months to the nomination, that place would be full to the brim with the politicians sitting in their cars for up to 10 hours waiting to see Raila. And they would wait and would never see Raila.
Never.
You'll wait there and you'll never see Raila. And you'll come the following day and wait and you'll never see Raila. And come the third day and wait and you'll never see Raila. And you've got the resources.
You have your 10 mic in your car.
Whatever you have.
You have 20.
Yes, but you might not see him. All right? But then a few people will see him and will have his blessing. And those are the people that will never even campaign. They will never give back to the community because you didn't give them the ticket. Because you are not the God. We have our God in Nairobi. Who are you? We go to the same altar with you and kneel down. Why do you want me to answer to you? We have got a God. So that's the thing. So that is what is happening right now. They are godless. Yeah, they are godless. Where do you pray? Which altar do you belong? There is nobody at Kerara Pond. So we all go to Mother Teresa.
Is that Ruto? Is Ruto Mother Teresa? But the situation now.
Yeah.
There's fire.
There's fire.
Under the pot.
Because Raila was bigger than life. Wait for us. Don't worry. Raila was bigger than life. His word was the Bible. And you come to think about it. Raila was too powerful. You don't need that kind of power vested in a human being.
The aura. I met Raila twice.
This
man's aura.
Yeah.
Says, kona manyora.
Hey.
And I'm like, ndio baba.
Yes.
He's like, kazi mzuri.
I hear your former boss was very close to him. And you can still see it.
They were close. I'd enter the studio and they would talk for hours. And they would talk and they would laugh about, childish thing, let me say. Not Ruto, not governance, not politics. Samaki ilikuwa tamu. And you'd get to understand Raila. Sometimes when I had conflict with Prof, Raila, they would talk with Raila, and then my heart would wallow, and then my heart would soften because you understand Raila's aura.
Yeah.
I met him again at Nairobi Club. He's just going to take buffet, He's doing it for himself, standing up, going, taking, looking at everything, doing it for himself. And then you'd understand the aura, this like a month or two before he passed on. And that was Raila. And so you're telling me people are camping to get a nomination ticket.
Yeah.
People are begging to give him money. but they don't get to see him.
Yeah, you don't get to see him. And I don't that kind of power is only good for the people that hold it. It is only good for the circle. It can never be good for the people. Can never be good for the people. Because in the next several years, if we want to develop a country, you don't have such kind of people. I don't think so. It is good. It was good for Raila. It was good for Fidel. It was good for Junior. It was good for Winnie. It was good for the wife. I doubt it was good for the Luos. That is the thing that a lot of Luos would not want to hear. They would not want to hear it. You don't want a Kenyatta in Kikuyu land. No. You don't want a man who has half of the country to his name. You don't. While others are dying in Molo because of a quarter acre. No. You don't want that. You want a country where somebody is not afraid of where they're living. Because if you go back to pre-independence, we had Mau Mau, and they died in the forest, right? And the reason why they died in the forest and Kikuyu women were raped, there was a reason why they were raped and abused in the forest by the British people. And the reason why they were raped was because their men were fighting these colonists. And the understanding was that their land had been taken away from them. And the understanding was that when they shook hands with the white man, and the white man left this country, then that land would belong to them. But then that land was taken by a single person.
Kenyatta.
Yes. And then these people had to leave their land and go into other people's land, from where they were never safe. They were never safe. And some people had to vote because they feared for the frontier they have.
Not for the politician.
Yes, that I am voting this person because I am afraid that if I change my vote,
I would be kicked out.
I will be kicked out.
And I don't have anywhere else to go.
Yes. We cannot have that kind of a country. And that is why that kind of power is good for the people that wield it. It's good for the people that are around it, but it's not good. And that's why I can tell you for sure that Winnie is not happy with ODM because somebody moved their cheese. Yes, somebody moved their cheese. There's no any other reason why they are unhappy.
That somebody's the uncle.
Yeah. What Oburu has actually done is to raid his brother's compound. And he has taken off with the
cheese,
with the cow. This is a good place to end this podcast, no?
Because I'm seeing a lot of doors opening. I'm seeing a lot of people coming in and asking, "Are we going up to?"
People of the internet has been moving. I've really enjoyed this podcast with you, Mr.
No, this is Jagero's rant. We shall call it that every Saturday. Jagero is ranting.
But you've also ranted a lot.
We have understood. We need to talk more. We need to understand. Because we have talked to people. I have conducted almost 1,500 conversations on different platforms.
Yeah.
And there's much you get to understand, not when you're having these conversations off camera.
Yeah.
Then you understand, so this is the reality of what happened.
Yeah.
And people don't get to hear them. And I think we need to reveal a little bit about what we talk about off camera with these guests.
Yeah.
What they say, what they really feel in their hearts about their country, about their leaders, about the people. And once you understand these people off camera, people don't see it.
Yeah.
People don't know what people think.
The conversations I hear off camera are crazy. They're really, really crazy. And there is no Kenya in some conversations.
No Kenya.
There's no Kenya. Unasema ati kuna Kenya. People of the internet, thank you very much. It's been amazing having you. I want to thank Mr. Jadiel. I am trying very hard to call him Jadiel. How do you pronounce it?
It's just Jadiel.
Jadiel.
You don't say a ja and the D. You don't separate the ja and the D.
Jadiel.
So it's Jadiel.
Jadiel.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You've held cloth for whoever usually comes here. Think about Simiyu, think about Odhiambo. You've held it very well.
I appreciate
thank
you
very much.
for
I want
having
to thank
me.
Mr. Opunga on the deck for helping run this. I want to...
Simon, my camera person, is
Yes,
here.
Simon is here. Simon, thank you very much. Chieng is here. Kiaria was here during the day making videos. So we've had a lot of people here. And, we are going to watch Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that one of them is going to lose.
Yeah.
And it is not Chelsea. Thank you very much, people of the internet.
Manchester United versus Arsenal tomorrow, 6:30 p.m.
Yeah. Until another episode, people of the internet, bye for now.
Goodbye.
HustlesAfrica.com, a guide to high-paying online jobs. At HustlesAfrica.com, you will discover the jobs people are doing from home, the platforms where opportunities are found, the skills that open doors, and the practical steps to begin earning. Go to HustlesAfrica.com today.